Hello, good evening. My name is Morgan. I bid you all welcome back to Risen. We are really on a roll with these as of late, so let's not slow this train down. Last episode, we got the quest from Patty in regards to finding all of the clues amongst the graves that are buried across the island. So, to find them, we have these handy locations on our map, and one is very close indeed. So why don't we start by heading this direction. This is probably going to be a bit of a long episode because I'm going to try and wrap all these up in one. But there's one or two detours along the way. But anyway, this one's nearby. We'll start here. And, well, an unexpected face crosses our path.
Damn, you spotted me, huh?
Kinda hard not to when you're standing out in the open.
You're Vasily, one of Romanov's men.
Yeah, damn. You didn't see me, right?
I did see you.
Romanov will keel-haul me if he finds out you saw me. Do us both a favor and keep quiet.
What are you doing out here?
Watching you. You get in the way of things.
What is that supposed to mean?
He wants you to handle Patty's business without getting killed.
And you're following me because...
You're searching for the big treasure.
What makes you think that?
Everyone who's heard of Steelbeard's treasure knows Patty is searching for it. And you've been seen together with Patty often enough. I've seen that tart hanging around in the old cemetery on the west slope. And you're tramping across the island with a shovel. Well, any idiot can see what you two are planning.
Well, that certainly includes you.
I could use your help.
Me? What can I do for you?
I have to get to the west coast. You're gonna help me get there.
If I have to, but when you finish your search, I'm gone.
Hey, come with me.
Right.
So, Vasily ends up being our partner for this bit. He will only help specifically in your explorations of the west end of the island. So bear that in mind. If you try to go further back inland, he will just stop and wait for you to come back. So unfortunately, he is not your partner throughout your adventures across this island, and he will indeed stop helping you as soon as you find the treasure site we're looking for out here. That said, he will basically help anywhere on this west end of the island, everywhere from here northward, essentially, or northwestward. So, you can have him help you clear out this entire side. We're not going to do that today because that's going to take way too long, but I will at least show you a trick for getting him to help you with a part you may struggle with a bit more. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. As you can see, we are a powerhouse. We really don't need his help, but in case you're struggling, he is available. Wolves.
You can run. I've had it with these monsters. She won't be eating me.
Now, he is not invincible, so be wary of that. If you get him to draw too much aggro, he could get cut to ribbons. He's not a super crucial character, so it's not the end of the world if that happens, but, well, we needn't necessarily be rid of him yet.
You can run.
Of course, you can save a little bit of mana, at least, by letting him get the finishing blows. And because he's a follower, you do get the XP for anything he kills. I know she does quaff potions, but I believe he does have a limited amount, so don't rely on him keeping himself alive. I'll be honest, we get way more of these permanent stat boosting items than I really remember us getting. Wanderlust is probably the least useful. I know you can make a potion that gives you even more bonus XP, but in terms of everything else, probably the least useful. Because we're finding so few heroes' crowns, you will probably by the end up eating a lot of just the raw ingredients instead of making them into potions, but
You can run.
I won't necessarily be using them just because I don't really need to.
Kind die.
The ones we would be saving would certainly be the mana boosting ones. And I'm not using anything but magic, so I don't really have a use for the other ones. You could sell them, they're worth a fair bit, but I don't know. Kind of want to see how many I end up getting by the end. Now remember that the chance of getting extra rewards from prospecting is dependent on how many you get in a single launch of the game. So every 3, regardless of how many times you saved or loaded in between, will get you a bonus gemstone out of it. Which means, if you really want to optimize it, you just reload 3 times to get it. I haven't been doing that, but it does mean that if I only get 2 in one, episode, and then I quit the game, means I would need to mine 3 more next time to get the reward. So every now and then, if you want to play it fair at least, I would say try and keep count of how many you've done between loads. And cheese it a little bit to give yourself what you're really owed. So we found a ruin here with skeletons guarding it. So wasn't that something?
You can run.
I'm surprised Vasily is brave enough to take on these walking bones.
Rotten hell! I've had it with these monsters. I hope all your kind die.
Oh lord, they're still coming.
No mana.
I don't think skeletons are harder to hit for their boniness.
She won't be eating me tonight.
But just because they are a little bit less visible, they kind of blend in a bit, what with all their empty space. I do still find them harder to hit with projectiles. I think that might be the one advantage of fire and ice. I'm pretty sure the bullet itself is bigger, so it has a larger hitbox. But that's simply not enough for me to find them worth it.
I hope all your kind die. She won't be eating me tonight. I've had it with these monsters. I hope all your kind
As I said,
die.
we're not going to go all the way to the west coast just because it'll simply take too much time out of our day. But let's see what we got going on here in these ruins. A goblet. I don't recall if there's a feller up here. There is not. Few spell scrolls that may or may not come in use. Yes, all the way down to the shores there. You could bring Vasily and have him assist in mopping it all up, but we don't need to. We'll be saving that for another time. We are more than capable of handling ourselves. But there's a little bit more here if you're interested. Down here is a door.
I'll have to pick this, or find the key.
Now he says that, pick it or find the key, but in fact, I don't have any unlock spells, but that door requires a key to open. We'll find out exactly what key that is in due time. For now, let's look around a little bit more. We've actually gone past the point where the grave is, So we'll head back and find that soon. Whoop. Beg your pardon, forgot to knock. Handy bed here if you want to take a sleep. Now Vasily, while he will follow you everywhere on the west side of the island, will not come down here.
I'll wait here then.
You'll notice. But if you got him
So you're coming?
close enough, he'll pretty much stand in the doorway, and if you lure some enemies over here... Let me make a save, because I don't actually want to do this yet, but I just want to demonstrate. Lure enemies over here, it will bring him down.
You want to fight?
Wow! I got smoked. Yeah, we'll bring him down here, and if you step through that doorway, he will actually follow you past that point. It's really just this one landing here on the stairs where his leash point is, but if you walk past it, he'll keep following. So you can have him help you clear out the cellar, but there's a particular reason why I'm choosing not to do that now.
So
Probably become apparent by the end of this episode, but it is for continuity's sake. Generally speaking, I'm trying to make sure that whenever we get a quest, I try and complete it in the same episode as much as possible. Now, obviously, until now, that hasn't really been an option because there have been a lot of quests piled on at once, especially like in Harbor Town and the Monastery, that getting them done as soon as we get them really wasn't feasible. But going forward, maybe at least somewhat more simpler to keep things cohesive. I'm going to double tap this ore vein just because I think I've done 7 or 8 by now without getting the bonus.
This is what I need.
So this is what I mean when I say make sure you get your just rewards, even if you got to save scumming a little bit. Great. Now the thing with the extra gemstone is it's always consistent with what kind of ore vein it is. So iron always gives amber, I think. Gold always gives emerald. I don't think we found the others yet.
A little more for me.
I see you've found what you were looking for. We're a giant step closer to our treasure now, aren't we?
Our treasure.
I'm sure you'll make the right decision. I'll be going, but remember who helped you.
Oh, I assure you, I will never forget. Alright, so let's get ourselves to the next area. Next nearest one... Well, there really isn't a next nearest one. There's 2 by the city, one kind of sort of near the monastery, and one in the woods that we haven't really explored yet. So I think I'm going to head to the monastery next and see if we can pick up a few scrolls while we're there. Because I think I'll need some unlocked ones. I don't actually recall if I could find any in monastery during my test run, though. But there's one thing in particular that annoys me about the armors in this game, other than the fact that they're all just super kind of chunky and really cumbersome looking, like especially the Commandant armor. But just why do the mage boots have these weird metal like accents on them? They look like I'm wearing yak tracks or something to avoid slipping on ice, but they don't make sense with this armor. Or with these robes. These are meant to be sort of like priestly vestments of sorts. So why do I have just like armored boots, but like only armored on the edges?
Master.
Okay, so he does not carry any unlocked spells, unfortunately. It is weird how many extra runes he carries, and I did say in the last episode that the levitation rune was something I didn't think was in the game. I kind of forgot that he actually sells 3 of them. So yes, finding one out in the world saves you 500 gold, but really that's not a whole lot. But I'm pretty sure that just about every rune you could find in the game can be found out in the world somewhere. I think there's one exception because it's kind of a plot-relevant one. Anywho, I guess I'll just do some housekeeping while I'm here. Oh, apparently there's more to do here.
I know for sure who killed Hemlar. Master Arik. Hemlar owed Arik for the Bruegel he'd supplied, and Hemlar wouldn't pay. Seems Arik was desperate for gold to get back to the mainland.
Desperate enough to kill. I didn't think he could do something like that. Have you told Vitus?
Vitus knows.
Well, that should give you some protection. Arik, I still can't believe it.
Well, you better
Show me
believe it. Not a whole lot of XP for closing that out, but more than nothing. Well, at least you always have his sword to remember him by. Alright, so let's get on to the next one. It's nearby. Not too hard to get to. But a little bit tricky if you don't know what you're looking for. So right about here, you can see that there's a place to drop down to. Now for your health and safety, I suggest you put on the acrobatics ring. The acrobatics ring actually gives you a pretty generous window before the fall damage kicks in, which is normally quite short. It seems like you can fall almost twice as far without taking damage while having the ring equipped. Anywho.
A little more for me.
Let's dig. Behold, another one. Now we'll read all the clues once we find them all. And over here is a handy levitation altar. In a bit of a strange place, because falling the rest of the way, even with a ring, I'm not sure that's survivable. We can give it a shot. Tally-a-ho. Oh, just barely. Fancy that. And that plops us behind the novice farm. For what that's worth. Do they get mad at me for being in here? They better not. I'm a mage. I outrank you. Which also means I should be able to just help myself. This was where we found the seaman's clothing.
Gotta start
Apparently
again.
we never opened this one.
That wasn't it. Did it?
Nailed. Oh wow, there's a whole attic up there. Oh wait, that's not an attic.
Interesting.
Interesting. Speaking of interesting.
There's something here about magic.
Indeed. Let's have a nap, and then we're gonna head to the city. Maybe in the city I can find some spell scrolls, but I don't know who would even sell such things. Oh yeah, Tilda, we have some news about a couple of your sons, at least.
I talked to William.
William, my good boy. How is he?
He's training in the monastery. He's fine.
Okay, good news. You have groceries? I don't need groceries. Good old Walter. Having a break.
The gnomes had this tool bag.
Hey, that's just what I'm looking for. I need, say, 15 of those?
15. Do you know how many gnomes I'd have to knock down to get that?
Knocking over gnomes isn't my problem. I just need the metal.
I'll see what I can do, but it may take a while.
As long as I get the metal, time isn't the problem.
I think time is the problem. Because, frankly, you won't make your quotas in time if I take the rest of eternity to bring these to you.
Would 10 tool bags be enough for you?
I'm going to need 15.
15 it is then.
If it was easy, I'd have got them myself.
Difficult I can do for lunchtime. The impossible will take a bit longer.
Well, the impossible must be done. We are at 20 learning points. I could put that into alchemy or mana. I'm a little undecided, so I shall just hang on to them.
Garth stole some of the Don's goods.
What, Garth? I warned him about tangling with the Don. I assume you've taken care of things. Here, take a healing potion. A thanks for smoothing this over.
You didn't exactly learn how I smoothed it over, which was to pretty much expose your scheme, but hey.
Let's...
Neither here nor there. So we got a glimpse of something out his back door.
This lock is too difficult.
But the lock is too difficult. There's a little bit of a tunnel system going underneath this wall, if you'll notice. And there can be a few secrets to be found down here. Not really what I was planning on getting into today, but why don't we take a look? We are up yonder tower. Some wolf skins, if you're still looking for those from way back in the day. And this does give us the opportunity to try and sneak in if we were brave enough into his backyard, but not really worth it. We'll check it out another day. Why is this guy still here?
Best you go before someone makes you disappear.
I guess he doesn't want to go back to town because he's worried about what the Don will do to him. So he's just hiding in a fairly conspicuous place. Anyway, let's get out here. You might recall we actually did dig up a chest in this area ages ago, but it was one what we could not open. Well, today, finally get to crack that nut. Behold. It is nice that the chests contain more than just clues, but also a bit of treasure as well. So that all our hiking is not completely unrewarded. Now we have to head to the other side for another treasure. We'll see you at the other gate.
Let me through. I am here on the Inquisitor's business.
Ah, yes.
Ah, yes. Funny how you have exactly the same voice as the guy on the other side. Alright, so next one is just down the hill here on a small islet. Merge. We're about to out-hunt every hunter on this island with our magic missiles. Well, 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 if it isn't another familiarly ugly sumbitch.
They say pace always runs downhill. That why you keep coming back here? You thought about going to the small island? At least that would take you away from here.
Look who it is. Back for another beating.
Cocky bastard, aren't you?
Yeah, it's all the bodies I buried that made me cocky.
What are you doing
All the berries
here?
I bodied.
Captain Romanov wants me to make sure that nothing happens to you. Leastwise, nothing while you're looking for Steelbeard's clues. And we do what Romanov says. That means me and you.
You know, I think you're here as a punishment. I bet Romanov's still angry after you lost the key to Steelbeard's shack.
You should worry about your position, not mine.
So you're watching over me. I feel a lot safer now.
Just find the next clue.
How did you know I'd be coming here?
Romanov knows where everyone on this island is. Can't hide anything from him.
Why should I go to the small island?
You're looking for something belongs to a pirate. Island's protected by water, isn't it?
Someone as dense as you can work that out. It doesn't seem like a very good place to hide something.
I'm telling you, you'll find what you're looking for there.
We'll see. How do you know about Steelbeard's clues?
Everybody knows.
That's not an answer.
What the fuck does it matter who knows? Just find them.
Well, you're as useless as ever. Obstinate and stupid. Unfortunately, he does not lend a hand with this because, well, he's a dick. I hate the moths most particularly when trying to hit them with a projectile spell because they keep bouncing upwards. So even if you're aiming your shots at sort of the middle of their abdomen,
That didn't do it.
you're liable to miss the follow-up.
Job well done.
Crossing deep water in particular, the jump strategy pays off. Because, well, it gets you around the whole slow walking bit. I don't remember how far you can go out here before you get wormed. I guess right about to where it cuts off. Anyway, just to keep things neat, what you're looking for is really around the corner here, but we will mop up the rest of the island while we're in the area. So there is some interesting things to see here. There's a bit rumbly. So a note right on this small outcrop here. Oh, it seems that even old dumbass Erickson was right about something. Behold.
Another tomb.
So, if you notice, these vines are obfuscating something. We can actually get inside here. But beware. Danger is afoot. Now, deep water makes this place a little bit challenging. Behold the boners. Luckily, they're a bit stupid, but there are two. Owie! Man, they hurt. Especially when they do the abrupt super bonk that they should not be allowed to do. And this is actually why I wanted an unlock spell, because I don't think I can unlock this.
This lock is too difficult.
It is too difficult. So we'll have to remember this one for later. Alas, this game does not allow custom map markers. That would be very handy. As far as getting all of the... or getting the unlock rune so we can start making our own scrolls. I keep forgetting who has it, but it's not one we're going to be getting anytime soon. I don't believe it's one we could have gotten already had I been a bit more savvy. We've accumulated many muscles. Let's start cracking them. One pearl. Terrific. I don't know what the chance for getting a pearl out of a muscle is. It might be fixed. It might be RNG based. I don't even remember how it worked in Gothic 2, which is the only other game that had that sort of thing. Well, the sequels to this game did. At least Risen 2 did. I don't remember if 3 did. It must have done, because Risen 3 was basically 70% Risen 2 all over again.
Gotta start again.
It never seems to start with the left. And behold, a new type enemy. One who still does not stand a chance. Plus, many birds.
I need more mana.
Oh my god, why are you so bad? Tripped on a rock and missed all my shots. It's funny that a lot of times these unlocked chests seem to have better loot than the locked ones. Scorpion Stinger. I'm pretty sure you can take their claws as well. I don't know what tool we need to do that. Probably should have checked in on the hunter in the Don's camp. See if he had new tools. I don't remember who else would sell such things. Not the biggest deal, but being a mage turns out to be quite expensive, so we kind of need all of our finances acutely managed. And let's go back to Erickson and tell him that, for once, he was actually onto something. Got another one. You know, it makes me think it's every 10 that you open. Now I kind of want to find another one, see if we can save scum that as well, but that would be way too tedious to actually deal with. You know what, I'll experiment with it on my own time, with this one lonely muscle.
I've been to the small island, and I found one of Steelbeard's clues there.
Then my job here is done.
Does that mean I don't get the pleasure of your company any longer?
You think I like hanging around you? You'd better get moving. Romanov will be keeping an eye on you.
Oh, I'll bet. And I have a feeling we will see each other again. Alright, one more to find. It's right in the forest yonder. Now, I considered kind of showing what the rest of the forest looked like, but honestly, it takes quite a bit to get through. So, let's focus on getting what we need first. That said, I will take one detour to show you something that we kind of glanced at way back in the day. But let's take a closer look now. And we hear a little snarly up there. Quite an intimidating snarl. But we'll come back to that as well another time. Rawr. The sound of a quite fearsome beast with very generic stock sound effects. And this stupid ghoul. I recall he chased us out here way back in the day. We finally have our revenge, but it's curious that he never found his way back inside. It seems like maybe the ghouls have a weird sort of exception to the rule. Most enemies, if they de-render, will end up back kind of at their home positions, but it doesn't seem like ghouls maybe don't have a holding position. So whenever you move them, they just kind of stay where they are? Or maybe that one in particular is just weird.
This could be useful.
That could be useful. Probably won't be. But, as you recall, it kind of came out of this cave here. And this cave was another location that I just never noticed, I think until the live streams, I stumbled across it. And it really took me by surprise. And it is another location that actually has something worth finding. But there are also many threats within. Your typical bony threats. God, they move so weird and projectiles just kind of go haywire. There's something not just about like camera collision, but specifically like the way enemies overlap the crosshairs could make a projectiles just fly so wide. I don't understand why. And behold. Hi! Why did you come a-fighting? And come a-running with the rest of them. There's another. The combat music in this game is a little bit subtle, so you kind of have to pay close attention. If it doesn't end immediately, then that means there are still enemies after you, so bear that in mind. It's not like Gothic games of yore, where it took a minute to fade out after the threats were gone. But anyway, tell joke. Another runestone here. I'm a bit disappointed that all the runestones had the same texture. Like, none of them have a unique icon inscribed on it in the in-game model, the way Gothic 1 and 2 did. Or at least Gothic 1. I actually don't remember if Gothic 2 had unique ones. We also found a recipe, I believe, for the Jumbo Magic Potion. Wasn't actually paying attention.
Interesting.
Interesting. So that's nice. Alright, well, let's head up the hill in this direction. Head into the forest. And look for this final resting place. So just for reference, this is where we come from. Town's down that way. Novice Farm that way. Monastery up yonder with Severin's Farm. Or what was once Tilda's farm. Speaking of Tilda, she has a third son who is out and about someplace. Wonder where we might stumble across him. Well, anyway, let's head deeper into the woods here. You'll notice there's a lot of the young type monster varieties out here. Because we could have come in here much sooner, but I elected not to. And somebody seems to be living out in these woods, which is curious.
You are real, right?
Of course I'm real.
Sorry. It's becoming harder and harder to tell these days.
Who are you?
The name's, Leon.
You seem a little nervous, Leon. You're certainly hard to find.
Why were you looking for me?
Your mother is worried about you.
My mother is always worried. You can tell her that I'm still alive, for now. And that I miss her. Mothers like to hear that kind of thing.
Tell you what, you do it yourself.
I'm not going back there. I came away to try and get some peace.
What are you doing out here in the wilderness?
Just looking for a bite to eat.
Sure that's all you're doing?
Of course. I'm a hunter. I am. Just, hunting.
You look more like a looter to me. And looters aren't very popular around here.
Look, I'm not trying to cause any trouble. Like I said, I'm just a simple hunter.
Give it up. I don't believe you. Come on. What are you really doing out here?
Okay. So I'm a treasure hunter, seeker. I heard that the ruins are full of stuff, and so I set out to get my share. I even got myself a shovel and a pickaxe.
Cut the crap. I can tell you're lying.
You're really not gonna let this rest, are you?
Not a chance.
Okay. But you won't believe the truth either. Just before the Order locked up Harbour Town, I started getting nightmares. Then it got worse. I started seeing these apparitions, hearing this whispering inside my head. I escaped town, but it's no better out here. I haven't slept properly for ages. The whispering, always the whispering. These apparitions, these restless ghosts, they won't leave me alone.
Why would a dead lord haunt you?
If only I knew.
So do these ghosts talk to you?
Only one of them. Called himself Lord Patrascon.
What can you tell me about Lord Patrascon?
When he comes to me, I can hear this horrible, whispering voice inside my head. He says terrible things. Terrible, terrible things.
Do you have any idea where these ghosts come from?
No. Well, in my dreams I see towers. There's a ruined tower north of here, and there are more on the west coast. Perhaps they come from those.
Well, we found a tower on the west coast that was, shall we say, crowded with skeleton creatures. And perhaps there was a certain undead lord wallowing in the basement that we chose not to engage with. So now that comes full circle.
If they've singled you out, then you must have done something.
I found this strange ring in the forest. Found it. All right. I didn't steal it, it was just there. Been seeing them since then.
Show me the ring.
Here.
That ring must have belonged to them, and the undead don't like their things being taken.
Oh, crap. What do I do now?
Maybe I can take care of these ghosts.
Really? How will you do that?
I'll go to the towers, see what I find there.
That would be good. I don't know how much more of this I can take.
I need more information about these undead. Can you mark where these ruined towers are on my map?
Right. Let me get my head straight. Well, one isn't far from here to the north, and two are on the west coast. I think there could also be one on the south coast and one in the east. I'll mark them on your map anyway. I hope it helps.
Right. Thanks.
I like how he was unspecific about the two other ones, but he will mark them very specifically on the map anyway.
Who does this hut belong to?
Me. Well, me now.
So you've taken it. You think it's okay to just steal someone's home?
Hey, this island's been turned upside down. You see that, right? Besides, no one's bothered me. So the owner's either dead or he's been dragged off to the monastery.
Sounds about right for this place. How did you get out of Harbour Town?
I climbed over the town wall.
It's that easy?
Well, apart from stopping them seeing you do it, that goes without saying.
Indeed. So now we have another wild goose to chase. Bunch of vassals. Undead lords about the place. The cursed lords. So these are quite spread out. It's gonna be some time before we can get to all these. Now, I did hold off because I kinda sorta wanted to do them all in one go. But there's actually a bit of a strange quirk with this. Because in order to get to one of these, you kinda need to jump the gun on this quest a little bit and actually encounter something a little bit out of order. So that makes the whole interaction very unusual. But we'll worry about that another time. As I said, we will... What the hell's going on? 1 second. What the fuck, Daddy? Apologies. Cat's causing a ruckus as usual. Anyway, we weren't here for old Leon, but we found him anyway. What we were in fact looking for. Oh, Teddy. How nice of you to join me after knocking shit off the counters upstairs. We need to find the last grave, which is very near to Leon's, shall we say, reclaimed hut here. We don't know why it auto-saves there. I guess because that's where the start of the path to get up to him is. Whoa, God, so many wolves!
The
camouflaged. And we leveled up. And here we have it. The
A little more for me.
There we have it. 5 out of 5 graves, 5 out of 5 letters. Why don't we take a gander? Bulba was the last of them. In the end, I had to dig 6 graves, 5 for the mutineers and 1 for the treasure. I buried 6 treasure chests in the graves, but only one of them contains my valuable possessions. Furgold was the heaviest of the lot. He weighed as much as 2 wild boars. There's barely enough room for the chest. To make sure that nobody can mess about with my gold now or in the future, I set some deadly traps that will kill anyone on the spot who tries to open my treasure chests. This used to be Barnabas's trademark trick. Certainly never dreamed that in the end he would suffer the same fate as his victims. Only the one chest poses no danger, as long as you know which one that is and have my master key in your possession. To tell the truth, I'm a little bit sorry about Taris. He was a good man. The graves now bear crosses showing the names of the mutineers. Only one grave bears the name of an old drunkard who was once mugged by Corgan and Ashendor. Would he still be proud of this today? Who knows? Well, seems to be a bit of regret, remorse, somber reflection upon old friends who became enemies. But it seems that old Steelbeard knows no mercy for those who betray him. Indeed, that is a pirate's lot. Anyway, we got all the news of the sun, so why don't we wrap up with Tilda before we head back to Patty. Sort out the legacy of this great pirate.
I've seen your youngest son, Leon.
Really? He's alive then?
Yes. He's living in a hut north of the town.
That fills me with joy. Thank you for sharing this news. I hope he watches out for wild animals. The forest is very dangerous and he was always the weakest.
Now you know about all of your sons.
Yes. Without your help, I would have remained in the dark. You're a good man in bad times. I wish your path ahead to be a safe one.
Well, they shan't be safe, but I think I'm more than capable. I don't think Ingvar, her husband, really gives a shit, but I guess we'll check in with him anyway.
What do you want? You've got what you wanted, now leave me alone. What do you... You've got...
Nope. Well, your sons may be some misfits in their own right, but you didn't really leave them a legacy to be proud of, have you? Alright, let's get back to Patty. But first, a nap. I'm sure she'll be fine waiting.
Let's try.
Oh, it doesn't seem he has any other hunting tools. And I know there's animal trophies that I've not been able to acquire. So I'm not really sure what the deal is, where we find those. Suppose that's the sort of thing I ought to figure out, given that I am making a walkthrough and everything. Beast skin. Wonder what manner of beast drops such a skin. Wow, Patty, you really let yourself go in the days I've been gone.
Hey, if you want to see Patty again, there'll be no funny business, got it?
Funny business?
Romanov wants to see you. He's waiting on the west coast. Come with me.
What have you done with Patty?
I don't do the talking. Follow me, or forget about the girl.
It seems that in spite of everything, Romanov has stayed one step ahead. Guess we'll have to play along for now.
Go on. I'll follow you.
Good. And keep up. I won't wait for you.
Just get moving.
Right.
Say you won't wait for me, but leading me there is exactly why you're here, so... Kinda silly to say you won't. I am curious if you won't. Indeed, he will not. Other NPCs would have stopped by now. Very strange. Again, leading me there is exactly the point, so why wouldn't he wait for me? Okay, so that might also suggest that since he's not going to wait for me, him attacking anything in between might mean he just steals our XP. So let's bear that in mind. Doesn't look like much of a tough customer.
Stay close.
Oh, now he's waiting. Okay, that was unusual.
Come on.
Have I unlocked this one? I have not. Well, it didn't need unlocking, but I haven't looted it either. Give me that.
Stay close.
Well, you said you weren't waiting for me, sir.
Here you are. I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, you won't want to be sticking around.
Romanov is waiting at the northwest, at the end of the west coast. You follow this path through the ruins, and you'll find him.
Anything's happened to her, I'll find you.
Hey, I'm the messenger boy. You want to try talking tough? Try it with Romanov. But only if you want you and the girl washed up somewhere with your throat slit.
Well, that's certainly not something I want, but not something I fear either. And the coward doesn't want to see what comes next. So he doesn't actually go all the way there like I thought he did. There are a lot of tidbits of this game I don't quite remember. The live streams I did to prepare for this walkthrough happened quite some time ago, so I do apologize for the gaps in my memory. My memory is much like a sieve. Another tower. Certainly looks like one that Leon pointed out, but we're actually going to give it a wide berth, because like I said, we're going to take care of that whole business at a later date. Owie! God, they hurt so much.
That didn't do it.
Man, the one time I decide not to start with the left, it starts with the left.
Wasn't it? Did it?
So I take the route under the tower. Gold!
This is what I need.
Oh my god, summon the birds. Now, he doesn't exactly tell us where Romanov has gone, but the quest icon does, or the quest map. And would you look at that, all the chuckle fucks, except Vasily ain't here. Kind of surprised.
Ah, there's the gutter dog. Come for a little talk.
Hello, Romanov. Is this the bit where you try and kill me for the clues to Steelbeard's treasure?
Believe me, if I could, I would.
And why can't you?
Because you and Patty are the only ones who can get past Steelbeard's trap. Steelbeard's little bitch has already refused to cooperate, so let's see if you'll be any smarter.
What did you do to Patty?
She's safe.
Where?
Someplace where she could so easily not be safe, depending on what you do next.
What trap are you talking about?
Don't act dumb. I've already lost one of my men trying to get the treasure. None of my men will go near it now. And now we have you. They don't have to, right?
What do you want from me?
Well, you have a choice. Go into the cave and get me what I want, or don't. And you'll never see Patty again.
I'll bring you Steelbeard's treasure in exchange for Patty.
Well, isn't that sweet? You're soft on the little tavern bitch. Well, she certainly has attractive assets. Her father only slept with the best whores. But you got a deal. I get the treasure, and you get Patty. Now get it done. I'll be waiting.
Old Aronga finally made it. And there's Vasily. I guess they were just waiting around the corner. So, we got quite the crowd here. Gonna be tough to get out of here if we don't give him exactly what he wants. Why don't we take a look? Luckily, I believe there is one critter in here we gotta worry about. Indeed. Oh, 2 critters. Oh god. Make it quick. Deceased. Ghouls hit hard and hit fast. You gotta bear that in mind. And get rid of them as soon as you can. Ideally from a distance. So this idiot, old Pagan, seems to have met his end opening Terrace's chest. And it appears that the trap was still active. Ain't that something? Maybe it was fear alone that killed him. So, there's a trick to this, obviously. One that the clues should help us figure out. Bulba was the last of them. In the end, I had to dig 6 graves. Furgold was the heaviest of the lot. This used to be Barnabas's trademark trick. Feel a little sorry about Terrace. Drunkard who was once mugged by Corrigan in Ashendor. So, I'll give you a minute to think about it. Let's see what kind of names we got going on here. Terrace. Bulba. Dillinger. Furgold. Corrigan. And Barnabas. Well, 5 of those names are very familiar. 1 is not. Dillinger was not the name on any of these letters. So he must have been the drunkard who was once mugged by Corrigan in Ashendor. Stands to reason, don't it?
A little more for me.
Moment of truth, then. If you want to, you can dig up all the graves while you make your decision, but, well, we figured it out by now, haven't we? Behold, 900 gold, pearl necklace, ring, vials, rum, torch, Steelbeard's nautical map, candlestick, and a golden crystal disc. Finally, the one thing we've been looking for. Man, the great Steelbeard's treasure amounted to about $1,000. Anyway, as you can imagine, we have a choice to make once we get outside. So let's think about what we have at our disposal here. Truth is, not much. Suppose we have this. Wouldn't hurt.
I see you found Steelbeard's loot, so hand over the map.
No, I've changed my mind.
Then I'd better cut that out and change it back, hadn't I?
I can't cast for that mana.
Alley-oop. Come at me then, cowards. Oh, Vasily. We've been through so much together. What a shame. Alright, so we really didn't need the magic protection in the end. After all, the best defense is a good offense. Now, the only issue with doing it this way is that Romanov does not tell you where Patty is. If you were to give him the treasure map that we found, he would in fact tell you. So now we're kind of stuck in a position where we have to figure it out on our own. If you were
interesting
of a safe scummy sort, you could obviously give it to him, learn where she was, reload, and then take care of the fight and figure it out. But there's also the option that if you give it to him, which I will show in an addendum here, he will in fact you will actually have the opportunity to get it back.
I see you found Steelbeard's loot, so hand over the map.
Here, I found a lot of gold and this map.
The gold's yours. All I want is the map. I'm impressed, gutter dog. When I sent you into that cave, I didn't fancy your chances of coming out again. I could use a man like you.
I prefer to work alone.
Well, if you ever change your mind, there's a place for you in my crew.
We had a deal. Where's Patty?
You really want to free that fury, eh? You really think she's safe to be released into the world?
I kept my end of the deal. Now keep yours.
Relax, relax. I was just playing with you. She's locked in the ruin on the west slope south of here. Here's the key. This is where we part. And I hope you'll not think me rude if I say I'd rather not see your face again. Or hers. Get the message?
Oh, I get it. But it shan't be heeded, my friend. It would be nice if his dialogue here reflected how you dealt with him in town. It's a shame that it doesn't. He offers you a place on his crew no matter what, even though in this playthrough, as the Mage, we actually betrayed him. Now, the funny thing is, the way they're heading out of here, it would actually cross your paths again as you're freeing Patty, but they move so slowly that you can get well ahead of them. But this does create a bit of a conundrum. Trying to find them later, when we obviously want to resolve this in somewhat more favorable circumstances, but let's worry about that when we get to it. For now, let's go find Petty. Well, seems we figured out what this door is for after all. And behold, Patty is within.
Why, thank you. I guess I get to play the maiden in distress.
Does that make me the hero? Or the dragon?
How did you manage to get to me?
I had to persuade Romanov to let you go. Not an easy task.
What about the nautical map? Do you have it?
Map? Be glad you've still got your head. I had to give it to Romanov.
What? Have you gone completely out of your mind? I knew I shouldn't have trusted you.
So that damn map is worth more than your life, is it?
Well, no, but you're right. I should have known Romanov would strike that kind of bargain, bastard. My father marked all the places where he hid his gold on that map. We have to get it back from Romanov before he disappears.
Hidden gold. More graves, eh?
There's a lot of gold on this island, but that's nothing compared to what he's buried elsewhere. That treasure is my future. I don't want to be stuck with a tavern in a backwater all my life.
There's gold on this island too, though. You think we should find and spend that first?
Yes. Yes, after we've stopped Romanov and got that map back.
You can actually choose not to get involved here, which is kind of hilarious to me. I don't think I've ever chosen that option, so I'm curious.
I've had it. I'm not playing along anymore.
Go where you want. If you can't stay the distance, you're not who I thought you were. You might as well drink yourself to death in the gutters like all the rest.
Huh. Okay, I guess we can come back around.
All right. I'll help you.
I appreciate that, thank you. Romanov will probably head for a ship. He'll risk the storms if he sniffs gold.
Then he's heading for the harbor.
Yes, and I bet he'll use the Don's tunnel to get back into the town. If we hurry, we can cut him off. You go ahead. I'll meet you there.
Hey, come with me.
All right.
So, you can actually bring her along for this one.
This lock is too difficult.
Damn! At least he locked you in here with apparently quite a fine treasure chest. So as you can imagine, just how far we've gone, he should not have actually crossed our paths by now. Certainly, the crew wasn't moving fast enough. But I've actually had the experience that I don't find him on the way back here. We'll see if that's the case today, but if you don't find him this way, it can actually be very tricky to figure out where they've ended up. Because they do, in fact, go where Patty says, and they don't actually go back into town, but instead hang out on the beach where Patty was hanging out before we started all this. But
I'll stay here for now.
okay, so she doesn't keep coming, which is interesting. Because probably they presumed that you would take her back to the beach instead. We certainly should have crossed their paths by now, but given that they went off screen, I think they might end up kind of teleporting to the next area instead. I feel like they have a couple like waypoints along the route. And once they're off screen, they kind of warp to the next one, but let's see what we find in the most straightforward route to get there. The one nice thing about followers in this game is that they actually do have a sprint. If you get far enough ahead, they will keep up. That's not actually something you can do in this game, but there is a sprint spell which you can use, you know, when you find it. And that lets you sprint like they do, but they can do it on demand to make sure that they don't fall too far behind. And now Holy Flame's really acting up today. Need some Tums up in there. I'll be damned, they actually made it. So to tell you the truth, anytime I've done this in the past, they have never made it to this beach. They usually get stuck somewhere. Last time, or the first time I ever played this game, I tried doing it this way and I tried to find them. I ended up walking all the way back to the western beach, all the way back here. Never encountered them in between, and finally got desperate and I used console commands to warp to them. And just found them stuck in the ruins where we freed Patty. I don't know how I passed them in that location in both directions, only for them to be stuck there. So this whole bit can get very janky, and using the warp command is kind of your last resort if you struggle to find them. Otherwise, just do what I did and kill them as you leave the cave. Because, as long as you know where Patty is, you can free her unharmed. Or do what a certain friend of mine did when she live streamed this a few years ago. Ignore Patty entirely and leave her to starve to death in there. Game carries on regardless. Obviously, if you know the sequels at all, you'll know that that is certainly not the canon choice. Regardless.
Didn't you hear what I said? Don't get tiresome, gutter dog. I hate tiresome.
Oh, I heard what you said, and I choose to ignore it. Careful, I believe Patty can die here? Maybe, yeah. She can, but she's got a shitload of health, it looks like. But friendly fire's an option, so be careful.
It's no use to you. It might help me a lot.
Well, how dare you? I deserve that.
What have we here?
Well, she's not going to say anything until we pick it back up the map.
Here, I got my hands on Steelbeard's map.
You've got it. Do you have any idea how valuable this map is?
Since it's a pirate's map, I'm guessing it's not showing picnic spots.
Right. My father marked all the islands and the countries he visited on this map. He hid gold in every one of these places. There are a lot of wrong hands this could have fallen into. So, thank you for bringing it to me. You're a decent sort. Not many of those around here.
What about the rest of the gold from Steelbeard's treasure?
I'll take the map. You can have the gold. Deal?
I think I can live with that.
You can also have my father's old house, if you want it. It's close to the brothel. My father probably found that convenient.
Thanks. Although I'm not sure I'll have much use for it.
Well, it's yours. If you decide to stay on this island.
I mean, you already gave it to us when we discovered it before, so it's a bit weird to be saying you're giving that to us again.
What will you do now?
I'll go back to the town. I can't leave the island in these storms.
Looks like we're both stuck here. Well, that's... that.
Looks that way. Feel free to drop by the tavern any time you like. The gods know I'd like to talk to someone who isn't a drunken ex-fisherman.
I might just do that. Take care of yourself.
Good luck wherever the wind blows you.
Listen, you don't know what I was before I came to this island. Perhaps I was an ex-fisherman. Now, just to really wrap this all together, if you wanted to make this whole encounter a bit easier, obviously we made kind of a joke of it regardless, because Magic Missile is unstoppable. All of these guys you encountered, Vasily, Eriksson, what was his name? Aronga. You can go ahead and just kill them once you're done with them. Really nothing stopping you. And in fact, if you kill everybody, you can reach Romanov all by himself, completely defenseless, still full of bravado, but it makes the encounter a lot easier. And most amusingly of all, until he talks to you, he will never be hostile, so you can soften him up, as it were, as we learned in a very amusing live stream encounter. What? Pardon? Really? This is the strat? You just won't aggro until we talk to him, so I can kill him now? Doesn't even give a fuck.
There's the gutter dog. Come for a little talk.
Hello, Romanov. Is this the bit where you try and kill me for the clues to Steelbeard's treasure?
Believe me, if I could.
Brilliant.
And why can't you?
Because you and Patty are the only ones who can get past Steelbeard's trap.
And the last curiosity of that whole exchange is actually something that has never happened to me before or since. But when I did my original YouTube Let's Play for this game in ages past, there's a very distressing variable in that whole quest that really took me aback, and I've never forgotten it since.
He's another dead bitch. Balturo! Ha! You poor sucker. Aronga. Ogre root. You know, I think I have a... Why is it battle music? Ah! Woo! Wee! What are you doing? What? 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 What the fuck? This fucking game is haunted. I was I was chased by Balturo's ghost, and now his corpse is gone. Gah. Give me that back. I don't want to be caught in the dark. I was fucked up.
But it was much more mundane today, I'm afraid. The last thing before we wrap it up is I want to point out Romanov was in prison at in this hut at the end of the quay here. And I think our friend, who was supposed to be guarding the door, was having a little too much fun with the Lady of the Night for too long. Because, well, he never locked the door, never kept his eye on the fellow, and managed to let him escape. And it has been literally months, sir. And you're finally done with her? That 100 gold I paid really went around the world, didn't it?
So, is Romanov still there? Or are you guarding an empty cell now?
Oh, shut up! You got me into this mess.
And you'll have to get yourself out of it.
At least with all the chaos in this town, you've got a good chance of getting stabbed.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Well, I already did. You were too busy doing what you do. Alright, so, longer episode today, but we got a lot done. We have some direction for the next episode. We'll probably be taking care of... Well, it's hard to deal with Leon's quest, because one of those vassal towers goes way beyond the parts of the island that we've seen so far. So in fact, we'll be dealing with something else that puts us in that direction next time. For now, I suppose this is where we wrap it up. So thank you all for watching. We'll be coming to a conclusion of this series a little bit sooner than you or I might have expected, just because I've kind of really gotten the ball rolling here. And I think weekly episodes are not a foregone possibility here. But, until next time, have yourselves a wonderful week, stay safe, stay healthy, and farewell.